Hare Krishna, this is Sankarshan Das Adhikari speaking to you from ISKCON, Austin, Texas, USA. Recently we had this ashram filled up with devotees from all over the world. One day we made a little pilgrimage over to 2906 Dancy Street, that wonderful holy abode where I was accepted into the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Prabhupada Sampradaya. I was initiated there. The initiation ceremony was held there. It's an amazing, amazing little place where Vishnujan Swami had his first center here. I wanted to read to you all a letter that was received at that address that Prabhupada wrote to Vishnujan Swami. It's amazing. The relationship between Vishnujan Swami and Srila Prabhupada is really amazing. This is a letter dated 4th of April, 1971 from Bombay to Austin, Texas. My dear son, Vishnujana Maharaj, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 25th March 1971 and have noted the contents. Because I've been very busy with the movement which is going on here, I haven't had time to reply your letter until now. As soon as I remembered that you were trying to fulfill my desire of trying to open 10 centers, it gives me renewed vigor and life. Please do it nicely. I have got confidence in you because Krishna has given you special talent for chanting Hare Krishna mantra. When you were chanting in Los Angeles Temple in the evenings or in the mornings, I enjoyed your chanting so nicely that I thought myself immediately carried to Vaikuntha. So I'm always thankful to you for your activities in announcing the interest of our mission. Thank you very much. Most probably when I return to LA, I may call you back just to hear your chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. I am very anxious to meet you also. I am thinking of returning very soon, but I am also contemplating going to Russia. So on my way back, I may go there to Russia for a few days and then to the USA. Although I am Indian materially, still I have adopted USA as my fatherland, and you are all my fathers. In India, I had one father who raised me a Krishna-conscious child, but in America, I've got many fathers who are reminding me always of Krishna. Therefore, I will always wish to live under your care. Just see this amazing mood of Srila Prabhupada. Amazing mood. So I had the good fortune that Vishnujan Swami Maharaj convinced me to become a devotee of Srila Prabhupada. And the most amazing thing happened, actually, for my initiation ceremony. At that time, the temple president of the temple was Ishan Prabhu. Ishan Prabhu had just been in the UK, where the devotees were staying in the estate of John Lennon, the famous Beatle. So Ishan had this idea, we can preach to the big people of the world, because he was personally preaching to John Lennon. So when he came to Austin, he thought, well, let me cultivate the mayor. So anyway, we advertised it as actually I personally had this idea to advertise the initiation ceremony as the first Vedic fire sacrifice ever held in the city of Austin, which indeed it was. So an invitation was sent to the mayor to come to this first Vedic fire sacrifice ceremony in the history of ISKCON, history of Austin. So the mayor came. It was amazing. The mayor of Austin came to attend my initiation ceremony. The Vyasasana of Srila Prabhupada was brought out in the front yard of the temple, and we had it in the front yard. And there's actually a photograph here I'm going to show here on the video now of the initiation ceremony. The mayor is sitting there looking off in the distance. So anyway, the neighbors thought we were disturbing the peace of the neighborhood, so they called the police to break up our initiation ceremony. And the mayor's attending it, so when the police came, the mayor sent them on their way. So in this way, it was an amazing, amazing day. And then there's a nice photograph that was made in the Daily Texan newspaper of Vishnujan Swami giving a simply wonderful to the mayor of Austin. And I took a clipping of that photograph and I mailed it to Prabhupada with my dakshina. We collected dakshina at the initiation ceremony, and I sent the dakshina to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada wrote me back after having received that clipping of the photo of Vishnu Jan Swami. He said, I have seen the clipping of Vishnu Jana Maharaj and speaking with the mayor. It appears that he is doing very nicely there preaching in Austin. Please offer him my blessings. Now that really amazed me because here I was getting Prabhupada's blessings were coming to me through Vishnu Jan Swami. He was the conduit through which I was getting the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. But now I felt this is really amazing. Now I'm supposed to be one who gives the blessings of Srila Prabhupada to Vishnu Jan Swami. So I did that. I followed Prabhupada's instruction. I said, Prabhupada gives his blessings. Of course, it's a very simple thing, but it was a very deep and significant spiritual experience for me. So anyway, we have some photos here now we're showing of that wonderful little center, 2906 Dancy Street, where my whole life was transformed. That always remains a very, very holy place for me, that 2906 Dancy Street, because it's there that I realized that I have to give my life to Srila Prabhupada. I was thinking, well, this Hare Krishna is pretty good. I'll just be a singer-songwriter like George Harrison, but I won't be a disciple. I'll just be a musician and spread Krishna consciousness as a musician. I was living in the temple. The devotees were trying to convince me to become a disciple. I was living there thinking, well, I'll stay here for some time so I can learn how to write better Krishna conscious songs. That was my idea. But the devotees wanted me to just become a full-on disciple, a brahmachari, you see. I kept resisting. But one day we had a beautiful record album, the Beatles, that was actually produced by George Harrison on Apple Records. And Prabhupada was singing the Gravastikam prayers. Samsarada, not Prabhupada, the disciples were singing the Gravastikam prayers to Srila Prabhupada. Samsaradava nalalita loka tranaya karyunya ganaganadvam praptasya kalyana gunanavasya vande guru shri charanada vindam. And it was so beautiful, that love, the purity of the disciples offering themselves to Srila Prabhupada as his eternal servants. It's just really it just amazed me that we had love in the material world, and love for our country, a love for our parents, a love for a dog, a love for a girlfriend, all these kinds of loves, but they're always tinged with selfishness. They're dirty. They're not satisfying to the self. But here was a love that was so pure, it was so beautiful, it was so wonderful. And I was just awed by this amazing love for the spiritual master, giving oneself as the eternal servant of the spiritual master. So when I heard this, the devotees singing, my heart was transformed. I just thought, wouldn't it be beautiful if I gave my life to Srila Prabhupada? And the tears were coming down my cheeks. And then that was it. Now I want to be a disciple, because there's a higher level of happiness, you see. You can be on the outside looking in. You can be on the outside of the honey jar looking in and think, well, that honey seems pretty nice, trying to lick the outside of the jar, but you're not really tasting the honey. But when you actually stick your tongue inside that jar of honey, you see, then you actually relish the nectar. So if you actually want to relish the nectar of Krishna consciousness, you have to become a disciple of the bona fide spiritual master in disciplic succession, because that's Krishna's order. As long as you hold back from full surrender to Krishna, you can't taste the nectar. But when you actually give in and agree to follow the instructions of Krishna, you see, to become the disciple of the bona fide spiritual master and fully give your life in obedient service to him, making his instruction your very life and soul, when you do that, then the whole thing becomes completely transformed. And you enter a state of great transcendental happiness that you remain in for all of eternity, and it just goes on increasing and increasing. So anyway, I thank you all very much for tuning in. Please try to understand the importance of Krishna consciousness and make it your one business in your life to become purely fixed in Krishna consciousness and spread it as far and as wide as you possibly can to save the poor suffering souls of this world. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hare Krishna.